I'm Reagan Blaha, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you how social media can be a lifeline to those affected by natural disasters and why it may be a bad thing after all.
I'm Carly Gibson, and the great outdoors brings in millions of dollars to the Mountain State. Just how much and why am I on the Mountain River? Those answers and more coming up next.
I'm Shelby Davis, and I'll take you inside this ambulance that aided in rescue efforts from Hurricane Florence. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now. Weeks after Hurricane Florence made landfall, and many communities are still dealing with severe flooding. I'm Shelby Davis.
And I'm Bree Clark. We have the story of how some local first responders drove south to help in the aftermath of Florence.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
Over 48 deaths, billions of dollars worth of damage, and thousands of homes are left behind. Hurricane Florence devastated the East Coast and left affected areas underwater.
But a local EMS crew jumped into action when disaster struck. I met with them to find out more. When Hurricane Florence hit the Carolinas, Star City EMS providers John Hitchens, Jared Lamb, and Sam Hamilton said they were ready for anything. They stocked their ambulances with 72 hours worth of supplies and left home.
We usually pack for about a 10-day span as far as clothes and rain gear and things that we're going to need to protect ourselves while we're there. And then enough equipment for the vehicles. We have a fully stocked ambulance plus another fully stocked support vehicle that could provide intervention.
But for John, it wasn't his first time being called out for deployment.
Nobody really told us. It was just something that we have done every year for many years. We've been on standby for many deployments throughout the country.
Officials in Greenville, South Carolina say that Hurricane Florence caused nearly $1.2 billion in damage, and it will take months for the state to recover. EMTs John and Jared couldn't believe what they saw when they got down there. Even though there were 200 ambulances and 400 workers who showed up, they say it'll still take a long time to recover.
It's only going to continue to get worse as the rivers begin to decrease from their crest. Their flooding is going to continue to get worse in some areas, and they're really not going to see any relief until the water starts to recede.
But when I asked John and Jared if they felt like they were heroes, these EMTs said they were only doing their job.
I'm just ready to go whenever they need us again. You know, that's why we're here. That's what we do. We're here purely to help people.
Both John and Jared agree that they're ready to spring into action again whenever the need arises. The cleanup from Florence continues as countless trees and debris litter coastal cities, and thousands of families remain in shelters.
News spreads fast on social media, and things can escalate in a matter of minutes, especially during a natural disaster like Hurricane Florence.
And while many people turn to the internet during a crisis to communicate, it's important to understand that there is no truth filter. Reagan Blaha joins us now from Social Square to tell us the impact of social media during a natural disaster. Reagan?
Live streams, hashtags, and retweets. Social media is a lifeline during a breaking news story, but the information on social media is not 100% reliable. As I found out during Hurricane Florence, there's pros and cons to using the internet to post and retrieve information during a crisis. WVU professor Bob Britton is a social media expert at the Reed College of Media. He has observed firsthand how social media has become a game changer during natural disasters like Hurricane Florence.
Well, it gives you an instantaneous contact, so people can reach their family members, people can check things, people can get in touch with a speed you couldn't before.
Kara Stahl's sister lives in Greenville, North Carolina, and initially the mayor declared a state of emergency for the city. This information went out over the internet, and Kara was terrified for her sister's safety.
My mom and I wanted to pack up and get down there and help her into the storm just because we were so terrified, because this is the first time they've actually witnessed a hurricane, because they've been down there for only 2 years.
And even though Florence was downgraded to a tropical storm, social media was the main avenue for Kara to get information. But actually, social media can hurt those affected by natural disasters. Officials say shark hoaxes are most common during flooding. Their circulation has actually become a meme.
The flip side of that is it allows us to, because we can say what we want as quickly as we want to say it, we don't necessarily have the time to make sure we've gotten it right. So sometimes we can panic when we don't hear from someone or when somebody tells us something right away that's not necessarily accurate.
Experts say rather than trying to follow a hashtag like #Florence2018, make yourself a list of news outlets and verified government agencies who will be covering the event. By following reliable sources during disasters like the National Weather Service, you can feel confident that any updates are verified and true. And finally, be responsible when sharing, posting, or retweeting any information you find on the internet, especially during a crisis.
Thanks, Reagan. Misinformation on the web isn't the only thing we need to be concerned about. According to the U.S. Department of Treasury, an estimated $70 million in counterfeit bills are in circulation right here at home. I hit the streets to find out more. Lieutenant Leroy Forbes of the Granville Police Department says there have been many businesses affected by counterfeit bills in the last several months at the University Town Center.
It's something that goes on year-round. The upcoming seasons, we'll start to see a lot more of it. We had a big influx around Christmas last year, the holiday seasons and stuff.
And the most recent businesses that have been affected are Walmart, Cracker Barrel, Five Below, and Target.
We'll see anywhere from 5s to 100s. Last year we had a bunch of $100 bills that were counterfeited.
So how would the average person detect a counterfeit bill? Investigators say that it's become extremely difficult due to a new method called washing. Washing is the process of removing the ink off of small bills and reprinting them to look like bigger bills, making it hard to detect a real bill from a fake one.
I would probably be able to identify a fake by the feel of it and look for watermarks.
I'll just probably hold up to the light and see, because there's certain markings that should come up on it.
If someone were to give me a bill, honestly, I would just accept it, no matter what size bill it was, because I just don't know.
Investigators say that if you're unsure if you've been given counterfeit bills, you can always take them to your local bank or police station to have them checked. So how do you detect a fake bill? The easiest way is to buy one of these counterfeit detection pins. When you swipe it across the bill, it'll show up yellow if the bill's real, black if the bill's fake. And even though you can't get your money back on a counterfeit bill, you can always claim it as an income tax deduction.
Did you know that for every dollar spent on tourism advertising, the state gets back $106 in direct traveler spending? And when you throw in 4 distinct seasons, you have a recipe for success. Carly Gibson joins us now from Studio B to tell us more about why tourism in the Mountain State is booming. Carly?
That's right. West Virginia tourism officials have launched a new marketing campaign this year. It focuses on the famous Almost Heaven song, and results are impressive. Hotel stays are up over 11%, travel guide requests are up 36%, and website views are up 91%. I recently visited one of these outdoor events and can tell you firsthand why showcasing West Virginia's great outdoors is an easy sell.
Meet the Mon is an annual event where anyone can come and enjoy kayaking and paddleboarding on the Monongalia River. And the best part about this event is that it's completely free.
I think there is a lot of opportunities to be on the rivers, on the lakes, on the mountains, hiking. I think West Virginia is a great state to be outdoors.
Last year alone, tourism in West Virginia brought in $11.3 million per day in direct spending and created 45,000 jobs within the state.
In fact, 86% of people who come to West Virginia on vacation make a return visit. And for this Morgantown resident, she is not surprised by these numbers.
I just don't think that people realize how beautiful it is. And I did grow up in West Virginia. It wasn't until I was probably 30 that I actually went all around the state to just Thomas and Seneca Rocks and all over. It just has a flavor all its own. It's like if a small town were a state, that's what West Virginia would be.
Other reasons for the tourism boom in the Mountain State include 450 fairs and festivals, 6 major ski areas, and of course, affordable places to visit and stay.
Without this tourism-generated revenue, each household in West Virginia would have to pay an additional $700 per year in state and local taxes. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Carly. Well, I'll be there next year, Shelby.
It does sound fun. Coming up after the break, Anderson Small joins us in the studio to tell us why a WVU football player's helmet might have something to do with his performance on the field.
I'm Anderson Small, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you about a WVU athlete who has been flying into the end zone for multiple touchdowns this season.
We conquer mountains, but that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built. seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
WVU football has one of the top passing offenses in the NCAA this season.
One player on the offensive side is making headlines and standing out on the field for his helmet. Sports anchor Anderson Small has more. Anderson?
Thanks, Shelby. Bree? Last year, wide receiver Gary Jennings was hit in the helmet by a bird. Jennings now wears the bird's feathers on his helmet for good luck. So far, it's been paying off. The bird made it away safely, but left a few feathers behind. Jennings has wore the feathers, and his receiver receptions and touchdown numbers have gone up.
The senior wideout wore the feathers for good luck during a game last year and as a result had a career high of 13 catches. Jennings returned onto the field with his feathers and flew into the end zone multiple times this season. Quarterback Will Greer talks more about Jennings' success from his feathers.
Gary's always been a great player. It was just weird he never found the end zone last year, so it was really just a matter of time.
He already has more touchdowns in the first 2 games than he did last year. Who knows, maybe his good luck feathers will actually take him far this season.
You know, when he did it last year, everybody was kind of not like weirded out by it. Everybody was like, what is that? You know, and now it's just something that's pretty normal. You know, if you see him without feathers, you're kind of like, what's going on?
The feather-wearing sensation is an explosive player on the field, and now he catches attention for his fashionable helmet. Whether he is scoring a touchdown or flying high to receive the ball, his coach's only wish is that he keeps playing at a high level.
He's a unique guy. I've never had a guy put feathers in his helmet before, but if he keeps playing like he is, man, I'm all for it then. I'll help him find feathers with all the birds and pigeons and everything out there. So.
Number 12 sure knows how to entertain his teammates and fans, but he still hopes to help the Mountaineers win the remaining games.
Only scoring once last year, Jennings is setting personal records. Many say his good luck feathers are actually putting the points on the board. The Mountaineers will take on Kansas October 6th at noon for their homecoming game.
Thanks, Anderson. I love that story, Shelby. And we're hoping for a win, but the Mountaineers are not just competitive about football.
That's right, Bree. WVU recently kicked off its annual beard competition, a tradition that first began on campus in 1949. Contestants for this year's beard growing competition recently gathered for the event in the mountain lair with Miss West Virginia. All participants were required to shave together, so this competition remains fair. Everyone has 30 days to grow the best beard they can, and the final judging will take place during Mountaineer Week. Contestants have a month to grow their beards, and the winner is getting a $100 prize and the title of WVU's Best Beard. Good luck to all the Mountaineers competing. Well, that's it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Bree Clark.
And I'm Shelby Davis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.